So some believe that Jesus actually has other symbolic nature and could quite well be an Amonita Muscaria mushroom. And what we find is that actually most of the religions are formed of this mushroom cult, and even the Freemasons and most of magic, and perhaps even in some realms, consciousness itself came from the mushroom. So as we look to the understanding of why Christmas is celebrated on December 25th, we realize that it's actually due to the sun stopping in its motion and then returning, resurrecting on the third day. So this is where the December 25th came from, and if you asked a Christian why they celebrated Christmas on the 25th, they certainly wouldn't give you the answer that I would, which is because they told me to. So as we start to look into the real symbolic nature of Santa Claus, we find that he's actually a representation or an anamorph of the Amonita Muscaria mushroom, and that most of our concepts of the spiritual nature come from the DMT that is produced by the ingestion of the psychedelic mushroom. And the shamans of the North Pole would actually have to battle with the reindeer as they were trying to get the Amonita mushrooms and gather them for this winter solstice celebration. And you would find that the reindeer would very much want to eat the amanitas as well. And when they did, they would actually dash, dance, and prance around and get quite antsy. And of course, the mushroom was prepared by the vixen or the witch, and once you drank of the brew, you saw the comet come your way. And what brought the mushroom was, of course, the rain and Donner and Blitzen, or thunder and lightning in German. So all of Christmas is really just a mushroom ritual. So next year, you know, take the right present. Because really, the Amonita grows under the evergreen tree, and it is the gift that is given under the tree. And then once you take of it, you see all these sparkly lights and auras, right? And they used to store the Amonitas in the tree for them to dry, so that the shaman, or Santa Claus, could take his big bag of goodies and bring it to all of the people. And that's where Christmas actually comes from. Now, what I found was that this DMT research was getting very interesting and also tapping into trans-dimensional, hyperdimensional realms, or extraterrestrial, however you want to look at it. But they were finding that people that were doing DMT were actually coming back with similar stories of praying mantis people in a whole other realm that was open through dimethyltryptamine. And actually, dimethyltryptamine is most produced upon birth or upon death, but can be induced by these mushrooms. And once you start to look into mushrooms, you realize that their spores can actually travel through space, and that they very much could be extraterrestrials themselves. So our goddess is Lucifer, the idea of Jesus, the day star, the star of morning, Lucifer. Most people connect Lucifer with the devil, but of course there is no biblical connection between Lucifer and the devil. And if you look into it, of course, Venus is Lucifer. The symbols of Venus that I had discovered as I started to recognize that she was Lucifer, the star of the morning, and she is symbolized by the pentagram because Venus makes a 5-pointed star every 8 years, and of course she's always symbolized by the shell, by her connections with the life-giving waters. But Lucifer is also a friction match, and as you start to decipher corporate logos, there is one movie company that's called Phoenix Pictures, and they make movies about Nazi love, genetic manipulation, child labor camps, starring fine stars such as Sigourney Weaver, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Stephen King. And their movie icon is a Lucifer, a friction match being struck, which becomes a sun low on the horizon, which boils up into the fiery phoenix. So Phoenix Pictures could be read as Lucifer Pictures.